the Los Angeles Rams atop my power rankings last time I did one prior to week 16 because of the Christmas holiday last week. Didn't do one. Don't worry, I'll do one tomorrow.
Slacker.
Yeah. Well, I'll fill the void. I'll fill the void in your lives.
There were a lot, okay. I know you stay off Twitter. There were a lot of tweets.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, people were.
Listen, the Rams are on top of my power rankings. When I mulliganed out of the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day to win the NFC, my preseason pick to win the NFC, I chose the Rams. And the Rams, last we saw them, prior to last night on Monday Night Football, last we saw them, it was the fourth quarter of the Thursday night kickoff to Week 16 in Seattle, Washington. And with 9:39 to go in the fourth quarter of that game, Kobe Turner picked off Sam Darnold on the Rams' 2-yard line. And the Rams were up 30-14. Looking like they were going to take down the Seattle Seahawks, sweep them, get a great chance to get the 1 seed and have the entirety of the NFC playoffs go through Los Angeles, California. Which would be great because Devontae Adams had just hurt his hamstring just 4 days before against the Lions, and you can give the future Hall of Famer an extra week off, yada, yada, yada. And then the roof caved in. And then last night happened. I mean, from that point on to the end of overtime, and then to fall down 21-0 to the Atlanta Falcons last night, and in between those moments, enough football had been played. It's crazy. You know, enough football had been played where the Packers and the Bears played on a Saturday night, and then the Bears and the 49ers played on a Sunday night, and the Seahawks went into Carolina and beat the Panthers, and all of that football combined together served to eliminate the Rams from the division going into last night's game. But it's not as if the Rams had nothing to play for. I mean, Joe Buck rightfully pointed out throughout the broadcast the difference between finishing the 5th seed as a wild card and the 6th seed as a wild card in the NFC. Massive. Because, I mean, Joe is tiptoeing to not be disrespectful to the viewers in Tampa and Carolina. I will be more straightforward. I'll be more straightforward than Joe. Listen, you would much, much rather, if you're the Rams, go back into Carolina where you lost in the rain and get one more swing at the Panthers, or go to Tampa and take on a Bucs team that once upon a time was 6-2 and is able to win the division at 8-9. You'd rather go in to see them than take another swing at Philadelphia or take your first swing at the Bears. No, thank you. And then on top of it, there's also the future. What do I mean by that? The Rams own the Falcons' first-round pick in next year's draft.
Mm-hmm.
So by beating the Falcons, you're also improving your own your higher first-round draft choice. So you could basically assure yourselves of a top 10 pick in next year's draft and assure yourself better of being the 5 seed in the NFC playoffs and wipe out the bad taste of Week 16 that's been sitting there for a week and a half that got even worse in your palate because in between blowing that 30-14 lead in the fourth quarter with less than 10 minutes to go in Seattle, between that moment and you kicking off Monday Night Football, enough football got played elsewhere out of your control to eliminate you from the possibility of winning your division. Because despite your 11 wins, there's a 49er team with 12 and a Seattle team with 13, and they're playing each other on the Saturday night of Week 18. Another development that happened in between the Rams playing football was the entirety of the Week 18 schedule being hammered out, regardless of your Monday Night Football result, which, by the way, also has a lot to do with who's going to win the NFC South and be the 4 seed to welcome in the 5 seed that you're trying to get. Because of the craziness in the NFC South. If there's a three-way tie, if the Falcons win out, then the Panthers are going to be the winners of the division regardless of the final result on the first game of Week 18. That was all at stake last night when the Falcons took a 21-0 lead because Bijan Robinson is all that and the biscuit. And you're also seeing how the Rams coming back in this game in the second half to tie the game at 24 with a remarkable blocked field goal by Jared Verse to get the ball on the ground, then up in the air and in his hands and take it the distance to give the Rams that extra touchdown possession that they had lost multiple times in the game because their MVP quarterback was getting picked off. Jared Verse got him back on schedule. Instead of being down 10, or now they're down multiple scores, now they're down just one touchdown. Unreal. They would have been down by 17 again. Instead, that 10-point swing, they're down 7. But the Rams couldn't overcome Bijan Robinson. They couldn't overcome their own mistakes, and they couldn't overcome a missed pass interference at the end of the game that we'll discuss a little bit later, because I'd like to remove the officiating from this conversation. Because, again, the Rams did not play better than the refs reffed on that Tutu Atwell go ball at the end of the game. And that's the phrase I use all the time about don't put yourself in the position for the refs to miss a call. Don't do it. You play well enough, doesn't matter. Perfect example, pass interference against Keyshawn Boutte of the Patriots in Baltimore, not called, didn't matter. Patriots marched down the field anyway. They played better than the refs in that game and in that sequence. Rams were out of time. They were out of time. And had, Atwell caught the ball, had he not been interfered with, they wouldn't have enough time to run down there and spike the football, I don't think. So we'll talk about that officiating moment later. For the moment, though, the Rams went from up in Seattle by 16. I was more verbal than math. They went up by 2 scores, the ultimate in a 2-score lead with the ball, less than 10 minutes to go in that game, to down 21 by the Falcons and lose because Bijan could not be stopped on a final drive to set up Zane Gonzalez for the field goal. And a much more improved, red-hotter Atlanta Falcons team at the end of the season is better than the Rams last night, which is a tough pill to swallow for a team that was staring at controlling their own one-seed destiny about 5.5 quarters of football ago. Tough pill to swallow. And after the game, I believe Sean McVay said, basically, Week 18 against the Arizona Cardinals, which the Rams need to win to have a shot at the 5 seed anyway. And they'll know if that game matters because on Saturday night, if the Seahawks beat the Niners in the final game of the ESPN doubleheader on Saturday night, they will get the 1 seed, win the NFC West, and then put the Rams in position of having one home win against the Arizona Cardinals away of being the 5 seed anyway. If the Niners beat the Seahawks, then this game doesn't matter for the Rams, except in the fact that they need to get better because over the last few weeks, the defense has not played as well. And the end of the day, Stafford has thrown a ton more interceptions over the last few weeks than he had in the first dozen weeks of the season. And they have to play better, and I think Sean McVay knows that. So Week 18, he said after the game, they're starting, they're playing.
Oh, we're playing. Yeah, they're playing. No, they were going to play anyways. We need to play. We need to play better football. So I don't know what the consequences are and those different types of things, but we got to play better.
Yeah, they do. They absolutely do, because the Niners are peaking, Seahawks are peaking, Even though one of those teams is going to lose on Saturday night, they still are going to go into the playoffs in their positioning, feeling good about their chances to win it all. Bears are peaking. Eagles have won 3 in a row. And the Rams have now lost 2 in a row. And they are staring a visit to Philadelphia right in the face for a wild card weekend. Right in the kisser. They're staring down that barrel. That said, Devontae Adams is going to be coming back. They should get Quentin Lake back. They need their left tackle back. I mean, DJ Humphries, bless him. It was his, if you will, the phrase that Marshall Faulk used all the time, his birthday, which is not a good thing in football sometimes. The number of times that he had penalties, call back 40-plus yard plays, and for scores, there were 2 of them. So that's the state of the Rams. And now the draft choice that belongs to the Falcons is 12th overall. That belongs to them now. That used to belong to the Falcons, it belongs to them. It's 12th overall. So that's the state of the Rams going into the playoffs.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.